Hello everyone, in this video I'll be ranking the top 5 best pistols in Borderlands 4. We actually got a lot of pistols in this game, and surprisingly a lot of torgue pistols, and the newest being the Herald, which was just added in the Raid Boss 2. I'll be breaking down all the pistols, starting off here with some honorable mentions, and we actually have a pearlescent here as an honorable mention. With the hand cannon, this is the god roll for it. This has some pretty interesting properties with sticky projectiles. Now we also have a few different tediore pistols, like the inscriber. This is one of the best things that you can get second wins off of. And we also got the newest Shammy Kablammy. This one really isn't a honorable mention. It's okay. I'll replace that with the Ruby's Grasp. There's actually a lot of tediore pistols as well. And we also have as an honorable mention the Queen's Rest. Now this is actually a pretty solid weapon, but the top 5 are just a bit stronger than this. And this is a sticky weapon, which did get nerfed. So here is the hand cannon pearl with a ripper part. This is the god roll for it. It does alright damage. The stickies in this game are a little bit weaker now. We'd rather have like a torgue impact here. This is the Ruby's Grasp. Same deal. It's all about those torgue stickies. So it does lose a bit of its potency compared to where it used to be, but still not a bad weapon. It shoots off it'll shoot off sticky projectiles everywhere. Here's the Ruby's Grasp, so you just throw it and it creates a 4 of them, so it's really good if you need a second win. Same thing as the Inscriber, also show that off here. So if you like tediore style builds, these are some solid weapons for that, but I understand that most people just don't really enjoy that playstyle. The Inscriber does hit like a truck though. These are great if you do need a second wind, although in Subjugator and Thole the Invincible it is kind of hard because everything's got like 6 million health. Another honorable mention goes to the Sunspot here, which damage scales up based on the emptiness of the magazine, which does have some fun interactions. And the San Saba Songbird, this used to be insane because you used to be able to swap back and forth between weapons and get this thing to be like literally the best gun in the game. It is obviously not that good anymore, but still not bad as a Jacob's pistol. But coming in our 5th place here is the Herald. Now this isn't as good as it was like in Borderlands 2 and 3, but still pretty solid weapon. This is the newest pistol on the list here. And the best roll that you can find for this would be having a ripper part. Now this thing is annoying to farm obviously as the pearlescents are, but the god roll for this has around 20k DPS and would come with like the tediore and the ripper. You always want to have the ripper on this. It just makes the fire rate so much better. This is close, but obviously the damage isn't high enough, but these are some of the best rolls that I have on this character. And what's unique about it is it's firing, so it's going to split off into 5s and 7s. And I feel like the spread is a bit too wide to make it actually useful against a lot of bosses outside of like using it against Thole. You can actually do some pretty solid damage with like a gloam to glow cache using this, but you're going to want to try and sit around this area so you get the most amount of pellets to hit the target. And I'm not using like a perfect roll on this one here, but it is a fun weapon. I always enjoy using different types of torgue pistols, and this is a pretty decent one. You can see there if you elemental match, it can do some solid damage. You have to be at a specific range though, due to how the pellets work like that. I do think they could have used maybe like a 15 to 20% tighter spread on that. It would make it a lot more usable. Who knows, maybe they'll change in the future because I know there's a lot of fan feedback regarding this weapon, but it's not bad. And mind you, I'm not using the god roll for this because the pearls in this game are very random. You can't really farm them as well as you can other weapons, but it is decent enough. Like, that's, I guess, all I can say about this. It has its time and its place, and it's against large bosses. We'll see next week when Child of Terramorphous gets added to the game. But yeah, you can see there, this is a cryo version on an armor shield, so it's doing a bit extra damage. It's actually decent there. Elemental matching is one of the Pearl's best abilities, so if you can elemental match, it'll be really solid. Wow, that was crazy. Although if you do have a Queen's Rest or a hand cannon, they can be decently considerable as well. The hand cannon's greater for mobbing, I'd say. Funny enough, it'll get buried in your sea of heralds if you've been looking for a lot of heralds. And 4th place, this is thought to be the best pistol, but it received actually a heavy nerf. When you reload this gun, you're going to get random buffs, and I'll show you guys that in a second, but on the May 7th patch, this lost 37.5% of its damage and lost 75% of the fire rate increasing buffs that it got. So it's still a really good weapon, still good enough to make it onto this list, but it was a lot better in the past. It was overpowered. Like, I gotta say, this thing was pretty insane. So you shoot it off normally, and you'll see right beside my head there, I got the 6. This is actually really good. I'm going to run down there and fight with this because the number 6 is closest so you can get to 7. And it's really good with this here. So you can see we got the Jacob's part on it. It's doing a pretty solid amount of damage here. It doesn't come with an elemental choice on it, but basically what you're going to be using this for is just general bossing. You can hit them from range. It's not like the Herald where it's like a close range only thing. The Herald will clear a bit quicker, but the Herald is also hard if you don't hit all the pellets with it. This thing used to be a lot better, but it's still pretty solid. And yeah, you can get a lot of different buffs off on it. So depending on your reload number, you're gonna, I can't see it at the moment. Oh, I actually didn't have any of the buffs there. So it is a RNG dependent gun. Like, you'll reload it and they got the number 7 there. So that's pretty solid. Number 7 does obviously the most, so you can see there is a lot better than the 6. It all depends on the random buffs that you get, because depending on the number, that's the number of buffs that you're going to get. That is much better. I was like, oh crap, the Herald looks a lot better in my preview here, but you can see it is a good weapon. It's a roulette, so it's a random weapon. That's what's keeping it out of its first place. If it didn't get buffed, or it didn't get nerfed, it'd probably be a lot higher on this list, but we have some pretty heavy hidden pistols. Now in third, we have the 7th Sense. This is proprioception on it, which hitting enemies will spawn orbs that home in on targets whenever you reload. So this can be good if you have like an infinite ammo setup, and it also comes with shotgun loader. You can get Daedalus, Ripper, and Jacob's gun. Best possible roll would be with that shotgun loader, just so you get the additional pellets off on it. And Ripper's pretty crazy too, especially if you got the infinite ammo on a build like Rafa, Harlow, Cash, and even Vex. And you're going to see some big damage spikes. Wow, yeah. In a second here, whenever I go to reload, so I'll just fire that off. She has infinite ammo. So you see the health that drained right there, just to illustrate it here. It's going to scale up and do some pretty crazy damage as long as you get that reload, because there's little orbs that you can kind of see behind the target there. So if I go and fire off in the distance, it all goes and hits the boss just like that. I also don't mind the SMG loader on it, because it makes it fire really, really fast there. So you can get some pretty stellar damage, and that reload, as you see, it deletes the enemies. So shotgun is best, but if you get an SMG and an assault rifle one, they're pretty good too, just because the damage scaling from this thing is absolutely insane. So go reload here, goodbye. It's cool because you don't even have to look at the enemy when you take them out. And here it is in its regular old pistol form. It still fires really quick and does a good amount of damage here, but I do prefer having the SMG, or particularly the shotgun loader on it here. It's not as reliable because of its low magazine size with Harlow, who gets extra bullets off critical hits here. So yeah, you do have to land every single shot, because if you miss them, and you can actually see the projectiles there, it's just like a little, like the bullets will just appear afterwards whenever you get that reload. You saw it there, they shot from the side, taking it out pretty quickly. 7th Sense is a solid pistol. I guess in a similar vein, I forgot to mention the Phantom Flame here. This thing used to be really good, but power creep has set in, and it's just not really as good, because you have to have a particular build for this to be good. Basically, you're gonna shoot, I have an infinite ammo setup here, so that like, we're able to actually shoot this thing like really, really fast. It comes locked to fire damage only, and yeah, you can see there, even though it's getting crazy fast firing here, it's just not as good as some of the other pistols here. So that's why this one is just an honorable mention. Just forgot to mention earlier. Now, number 2 and number 1 were very difficult. They're actually very close in terms of power, and they're a lot higher than the rest of them on this list, so this is what made it so challenging. But second place, this was actually a paid one. The free one is actually a little better in my opinion, but Scoot and Shoot. This thing is crazy. This is the best possible roll with Jacob's, Ripper, and Torgue. You're going to spend hundreds of hours trying to find this thing. It is really good though, and can come with elements. It's got the Roblin Deep here. Phantom guns spawn from the location that you shoot from, which will do pretty crazy damage. They disappear whenever you reload. Whereas our number 1 gun actually benefits from reloads. This thing is crazy on infinite ammo builds, because you can do some pretty considerable stuff. As you get the damage scaling up, the more guns you have. However, a little caveat here is that the guns are nice, that I'll show you guys how that works, but if the boss starts moving, it's a lot harder to hit all those projectiles. But Ripper parts are amazing. Without Ripper, you can see the damage actually suffers a bit, but the Ripper is really good, and even without, it's really good. So this is what it's going to look like here. So you can see multiple guns start appearing, and they are really good. So a lot of them are actually shooting up really high. It's tough too, because you're trying to line it up so the boss ends up getting hit by as many of these as possible, but you can see it there. It is a really powerful weapon, especially if you can get these guns to appear. Uneven terrain is its biggest weakness. It also has a sticky version of it, which is kind of cool if you're like into that thing, but stickies did get nerfed, so I do prefer the Torgue impacts here, because they just hit a lot harder. But yeah, this thing's pretty fun. The bosses, if they move around, it makes it a lot weaker, but you can see it melts health bars really well. This is good against like Subjugator whenever he's in his big man form. Good against Thol. It's really good. And again, that'd be the best possible roll, but it can come with elements, and it's a very fun and powerful weapon. Love the name, Scoot and Shoot. And our number 1 weapon, the Shalashaska. Now, if you're a big Metal Gear Solid fan, you'll know this name, and I love to reload during a battle red text. This is full-on a Metal Gear reference, and I love it. It's all about the awful lot, like Ocelot, who's Shalashaska if you played Metal Gear Solid 5. Basically what happens is, every time you reload this, you're going to get an additional ricochet. This can do some insane stuff. You're going to see this number marked right beside the health bar there. So we got 1, we got 2, we got 3 in a second. You want to get this up to 5. And best possible roll for this is a Jacob's weapon, have it with the Torgue impact and Daedalus shotgun. You can see where this is going. If you have a torgue enhancement here that increases the damage radius, that makes this insane because these ricochets will just bounce down and hit the boss, which will just destroy them. And you can see it in action here. So yeah, it is absurdly powerful. If you're playing on like the Xbox Series S, it might have some issues with it just because it is seriously so powerful. It's fun to use. But yeah, the Shalashaska is insane. It's got those ricochets. You can see the health bar just melting here. Absolutely melting. It's so much fun. I really do enjoy this weapon. And it's pretty funny because it's a weapon you can warm up before you get into combat. And it just makes a lot of sense about the reloading. If you've played Metal Gear Solid, you'll understand. But you can see that there, all the explosions around, just staggering the boss, absolutely melting it. And this weapon is seriously so incredible. And that's why I put it as number 1, because you don't have to worry about your guns missing with the scoot and shoot. This is just straight up raw damage. Now, this is annoying to farm. It's from the Ordinate processors, so you got to go run those a lot. But an awful lot. It's an insane weapon, as you guys can see there, and it's a lot of fun too. So yeah, that is the top 5 best pistols in Borderlands 4. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments. It's funny, torgue pistols just end up rocking out. So yeah, Herald, hand cannon, scoot and shoot, Queen's Rest, Shalashaska, like everything here is great. Subscribe if this video is useful, and I hope you guys all have a great day.